What happens when the architect of Mercedes' decade-long reign suddenly admits that his greatest pupil may be fighting the hardest race of his life? Toto Wolff's recent comments about Lewis Hamilton's first season in Ferrari Red did more than stir a few microphones. They detonated every group chat, from Maranello to Melbourne. Because if the strategist who translated Hamilton's telemetry into silverware for 12 relentless years says this challenge is larger than anything we mastered together, even the most cynical fan leans forward. Tonight we follow that ripple, tracing how one candid interview reshaped the entire paddock narrative and set up the most captivating duel of 2025. Buckle in, because every twist that follows could rewrite modern Formula One history. Moments after the checkered flag dropped at Albert Park on Sunday, 2nd March 2025, Toto Wolff stepped into a crush of cameras and delivered a paradox. He praised Ferrari's winter surge, yet vowed to beat that scarlet car on merit. A declaration quickly relayed by Austrian broadcaster ORF and echoed worldwide. But hidden in the soundbite was a caution. Adapting to the SF-25 might consume far more time than enthusiasts expect. Wolff has watched champions buckle under smaller adjustments. His words carried the weight of experience and a hint of strategic provocation. Ferrari's SF-25 is the first chassis fully drafted under Enrico Cardil's surface flow vision and refined by aerodynamicist Loic Serra, a former Mercedes mastermind. The pull rod front suspension drops the aerodynamic centre of gravity, while a 20mm rearward shift in the centre of pressure exchanges razor-sharp turn-in for exit stability. The floor's edge wing now feeds a sculpted water-slide side pod channel, creating lower pressure vortices that promise an extra 0.3 per lap if the driver cooperates. Wind tunnel data suggest ample reward, yet engineers whisper that the rear axle's snap oversteer punishes abrupt throttle. In short, finesse over force. Those design choices flipped nearly every instinct Hamilton honed at Brackley, demanding he rewrite muscle memory before the European rounds even begin. Hamilton's biography is a scrapbook of reinventions. He learned tyre whispering for high degradation Pirellis in 2013, mastered hybrid energy harvesting in 2014, and tamed porpoising in 2022. Former strategist Bernie Collins reminded listeners on the Red Flags podcast that Ferrari's passionate environment can either ignite or overwhelm even seasoned drivers. Hamilton appears intent on harnessing the fire. Off-season glimpses show dawn simulator sessions in Maranello, Italian flashcards taped to hotel mirrors, and late-night debriefs dissecting every micro-correction between steering columns. Neurologists note that prediction error learning, the brain's ability to overwrite habits, peaks when intense focus alternates with reflective rest. Age 39 may sound seasoned, yet plasticity persists, and Hamilton's career has always thrived on discomfort. For 12 seasons, Toto Wolff was strategist, mentor, and sometimes confessor. Now he is rival. Planet F1 captured the duality when Wolff wished Hamilton only the best, personally, yet insisted on defeating him on track. Inside the Mercedes garage, engineers pore over early Ferrari onboards, mapping Hamilton's throttle traces to forecast tyre drop-off. That intimacy cuts both ways. Hamilton knows Wolff's tactical playbook, anticipating undercut gambits and safety car feints. Their chess match has shifted from shared war room to opposite pit walls, each move laced with 12 years of mutual insight. After the opening trio of Grands Prix, Australia, Saudi Arabia and China, Ferrari holds second in the Constructors' Championship on 104 points, trailing Red Bull by 19 and leading Mercedes by 8. Hamilton owns 36 of those points, 5th in Melbourne, 4th in Jeddah despite a brake-by-wire scare, and 6th in Shanghai after a two-stop gamble. His average qualifying slot sits at 4th, a mere 0.2 behind teammate Charles Leclerc. But race pace fades once track temperatures pierce 30 degrees Celsius, exposing that still temperamental rear axle. Formula One history offers cautionary epics and redemption arcs. Emerson Fittipaldi's patriotic Copasu car gamble fizzled. Fernando Alonso's second and McLaren stint became a thesis on frustration. Yet Michael Schumacher's Ferrari migration blossomed into 5 consecutive titles after 4 patience testing years, and Alain Prost's Williams' swan song crowned a champion after a sabbatical. Patterns emerge. Resources plus resolve eventually pay dividends. Hamilton referenced those precedents during pre-season media day, calling Ferrari a long-term canvas, not a one-race portrait. Critics hear spin, supporters hear blueprint. Ferrari's upgrade ledger is aggressive. A lighter floor for Imola, trimming 1.5 kilograms. A comprehensive Barcelona aero kit, reshaping side pod inlets. and an energy recovery tweak scheduled for Spielberg, promising 2% higher deployment efficiency. Simulation projects a collective half-second lap time gain, assuming wind tunnel correlation stays within 2%. Mercedes counters with a multi-element front wing and rear suspension geometry refined by software originally written for their Formula E program. Red Bull, predictably, holds cards close, with Adrian Newey hinting at a concept shift before Spa. If Ferrari's packages arrive on schedule, Hamilton's title quest remains viable. If delays creep in, focus may pivot to building foundations for the 2026 regulation reset. Away from lap charts, the story turns personal. Hamilton has begun mentoring Ferrari Academy youngster Maya Woog, sharing data overlays and mindset seminars. Wolff, meanwhile, fields daily questions about replacing his former talisman, publicly backing George Russell while evaluating Junior Antonelli. Their parallel arcs remind us that beyond trophies lie legacies, and those legacies now collide each Sunday afternoon. TalkSport captured Wolff's sentiment best. Many people think this will be difficult. I believe they will surprise us. Toto Wolff's warning was never just a line for the microphones. It was a flare fired sky high, illuminating everything still hidden in the haze of a brand new season. One side of the grid sees a 7-time world champion wrestling a scarlet machine that responds to whispers rather than shouts. The other side sees his former mentor plotting counter moves with the cool precision of a chess grandmaster. The gap between them is measured in tenths of a second, yet stretched across continents and history. Each lap, added to the odometer, drags 500,000 silent hopes from Brackley, Maranello, and every living room where Formula One fever burns. Over the next 21 races, the story will pivot on details most spectators never notice. The exact moment an engineer chooses to raise ride height by 2 millimeters at Spa, the split-second instinct that decides whether to risk slicks on a drying Marina Bay surface, the breath Hamilton takes before threshold braking into Variante Alta. A championship is rarely overturned by one spectacular Sunday. It is forged in countless micro-decisions, each small enough to overlook, yet powerful enough, collectively, to crown or crush. Ferrari's upgrade path promises half seconds, Mercedes' data science aims for marginal gains, and Red Bull lurks with the ruthless consistency of a metronome. Somewhere inside that swirl, Hamilton must translate every snap of oversteer into muscle memory, then distill that knowledge into the unflinching confidence required to send the SF-25 through Eau Rouge at 300 km/h while truly believing, it will stick. Whatever verdict the asphalt delivers, one certainty remains. When a mastermind who forged an empire admits that his greatest protege faces the ultimate trial, the entire sport shudders with anticipation. Because somewhere between the red lights going out and the checkered flag dropping, destiny will decide whether Lewis Hamilton becomes the knight who awakened the prancing horse, or the cautionary tale of brilliance that dared and fell just short. Either way, the journey will be unmissable. Keep your eyes on the next corner. It might be the one that changes everything.